Welcome to another edition of Spooky Reviews from Spooky Ventures. This is our 102nd review video, and this time around I'm looking at a DVD of a film called Yule. I'm reviewing this as part of my look at holiday horror. It's all included in my effort to put the spooky back into Christmas. All that said, let me say that this is not precisely holiday horror. The movie actually takes place in January on an occasion dubbed Night of the Mothers. The connections to Christmas are some Christmas music in the opening and closing credits, and a reference to a Yule log. So it's a bare thread of a connection. Then again, while I say it as put the spooky back into Christmas, I actually mean the winter holiday season, but that doesn't have the same ring. So in a way, this film does fit into that. This movie comes from the Polonia Brothers movies or filmmaking team. Now, if you're familiar with their movies, you'll understand a few things. These movies are low budget and look it. That's actually part of the charm of the films. They are definitely not mainstream movies, so if you come in looking for that kind of quality, you will be disappointed. There's a pretty wide range of quality, at least to me, with Polonia Brothers films. One thing that I really admire about them, though, is that they really do reach for big things. They try to tell stories that require some pretty high-end effects, and their grasp doesn't quite meet that reach, but they give it the effort and tell the stories anyway. The stories are generally supernatural in nature, and they are always interesting. That's true here, too. Some friends renting a cabin find themselves in the middle of a witch's curse that causes the very woods to attack them, and that isn't the only threat here. There is also a possessed woman along with other entities. This features several actors who I've been paying attention to for a while. Those actors are Tim Hatch, Jeff Kirkendall, and Jamie Morgan. I was happy to see all of them in this film. In some ways, this is one of the more successful of the Polonia movies. The story has some things in it that don't seem to make a lot of sense to me, but overall it flows well and does hold up pretty well. There are some places where a threat seems to be coming from a direction that doesn't make sense due to the scene before it, at least in terms of the visual representation. There are definitely some moments where they didn't have the budget to properly pull off an effect, too. As I suggested earlier, those things are part of the charm of these movies, though. Seeing a film where the creators weren't going to sacrifice their vision just because they couldn't make it look believable is admirable in some ways. Then again, I'm a big fan of Doctor Who, and that show, until the restart in the 21st century, more often than not found itself in that place. I have to mention, too, that there are some definite Evil Dead echoes built into this movie. The woods mobilizing for attack mode is one of those. And I should point out that that particular thing is one of my favorite parts of the first Evil Dead movie. So this sort of speaks to me here, too. Of course, when you throw in the possessed woman and a cabin, you can see that there is more here that at least calls that whole movie to mind. All in all, this is an entertaining film. It does have plenty of the little quirks that are always a part of Polonia Brothers movies, but as I said, I consider that more of a charm than detriment. It might not be all that closely tied to Christmas, but it is definitely set in the winter holiday season. The DVD is pretty bare bones. The only bonus here is a trailer for the movie. But personally, I kind of think bonuses are just that, bonuses. People generally buy movies for the actual film, not the bonuses, and they will always watch the movie more frequently than they will watch any bonus features. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.